Tisk, tisk. We're ready? All right. At this time, I'll call the Architectural Review Committee meeting of June 18th, 2025 to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Member King?
Here.
Member Kiefer?
Present.
And Vice Chairman Haas.
Present.
Thank you.
Do we have any changes to the agenda?
No changes to the agenda.
Okay. Is there any discussion needed among committee? Public, no.
I'm sorry, Vice Chair, can you repeat that?
My next thing is, do we have any change to agenda? Is there any discussion needed among the committee, which is a no?
There are no changes.
Yep. Anything further to discuss before voting? There's no voting. All right. This is an opportunity for members of the public to comment on any items not appearing on the regular agenda. Because of restrictions contained in California law, the Architectural Review Committee may not discuss or act on any item not on the agenda, but may briefly respond to statements made or ask a question for clarification. The chair may also request a brief response from staff to questions raised during the public comments, or may request a matter be agendized for a future meeting. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes.
We have no one in the audience wishing to speak, Vice Chair.
All right. Approval of minutes. The special meeting minutes for March 13th, 2025, March 15th, 2025, morning, March 15th, 2025, afternoon, and March 16th, 2025. Are there any requests to speak on this item from the public? And there's no public.
There's no one wishing to speak from the public.
Do we have a motion and a second to accept the minutes?
Apologies, just one moment.
Okay, let the record show that a motion was made by Member Kiefer, seconded by Member King, voted 3-0.
Do I read the item 3A description? Or is that you guys?
You have another minute item.
Apologies, there is another item for the minutes for approval, February 19th, 2025.
My apologies. I'm a little rusty. Approval of the February 19th, 2025 meeting minutes. Are there any requests to speak on this item from the non-existent public?
No one wishing to speak from
Do
the
we-
public.
Do we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes?
Let the record show that a motion was made by Member Kiefer and seconded by Member King. All passed. 3-0.
Do I read that first one? All right. New business, item 3A. Plan ADR-25-0004. Approve the proposed screening of roof-mounted equipment and deny the proposal to remove 4 windows from the front elevation of Perez Gardens.
All right. Good afternoon, Vice Chair Haas, members of the Architectural Review Committee. My name is Dom Camps, Associate Planner at the City. Today I will be presenting an administrative design review proposing to revise the approved elevations for conditional use permit 18021A, also known as Perez Gardens. So this project is located at the northeastern corner of Perez Road and Summit Drive in an existing building that was originally occupied by a tile store. A conditional use permit was originally approved for the project in February 2019, permitting the use of the site for cannabis cultivation and distribution. The following March, a conditional use permit was approved, amending the conditional use permit to add cannabis manufacturing as a permitted use. And in September 2022, an ADR was approved to revise the approved site plan and elevations, adding a carport on the rear of the building and changing the exterior paint colors. Just for context, here is the approved project site plan. As you can see, the project has a significant frontage along Perez Road. And these are the approved elevations for the project. So this administrative design review is being proposed to make two changes to the approved elevations. The first is to add roof screening, and the second is to remove 4 storefront windows. I will start by discussing the roof screening. So the original and amended CUPs for Perez Gardens included a standard condition of approval that all mechanical equipment, including roof-mounted equipment, must be screened from public view. And this is also a standard in the city's design guidelines. However, during construction for the tenant improvements for the project, it was discovered that the newly installed air conditioning units on the roof would be visible from Perez Road on the east and west sides of the building. Those are highlighted here in yellow. So in order to screen the exposed air conditioning units, the applicant is proposing to add approximately 25 feet of roof screening along the eastern side of the building, as well as approximately 7 and 10 feet along the southwestern corner. As shown here on the proposed elevations, the screening would be corrugated metal. Sample. It would be corrugated metal painted to match the darker gray accent color that was approved for the elevations. The screening would be oriented with the corrugation running vertically, so as shown on the elevations here, and it's proposed for a maximum height of 3 feet. So that's the first modification that's being proposed to the elevations. The second proposed modification for this ADR is the removal of the storefront windows. So prior to the conditional use permit for Perez Gardens, there was a recessed area in the building facade along Perez, framed by 4 large pillars. As part of the original conditional use permit, the applicant proposed to enclose this recessed area, thereby adding approximately 250 square feet of interior space. During their review of the conditional use permit in 2019, the Planning Commission added a condition of approval requiring that 2 storefront windows be added back to the newly enclosed area, so to be consistent with the appearance before it was enclosed. The approved elevations also showed that the other storefront windows along Perez Road would remain. Furthermore, the Architectural Review Committee, in reviewing the original CUP, requested that the storefront window closest to the corner of Perez and Summit Drive, so the one shown here, would be converted to a gallery space for art pieces. As shown in the photo on the right, the tenant improvements for the project are nearly complete. However, during a recent inspection, it was discovered that the 2 storefront windows were not added back into the newly enclosed area as required. It was also discovered that 2 other storefront windows, so these 2 here, which were shown in the approved elevations, were also removed, leaving a solid wall behind. Furthermore, it was also discovered that the projection or parapet that is above the art display window has been modified. These changes are inconsistent with both the approved elevations for the conditional use permit as well as the approved construction drawings. So the applicant is requesting that the Architectural Review Committee approve the proposed elevations with the windows removed. However, this modification would conflict with the condition of approval that I described before that the Planning Commission added for the approval of the CUP. Pardon me. This modification would also result in a facade that has less visual interest and that appears to be more closed off to the public. The city has historically aimed to maintain the aesthetic quality of buildings that are being converted to cannabis businesses, both to maintain an attractive public realm, but also considering the potential future use of these buildings for non-cannabis uses. So replacing the storefront windows with a blank wall would conflict with these goals. Staff recommends the approval of the corrugated metal screen panels to screen all roof-mounted equipment from public view. However, staff recommends denial of the proposal to remove 4 windows from the front elevation and instead recommends that the windows be installed in accordance with the previously approved elevations. Additionally, staff recommends that the projection or parapet above the art gallery space be reconstructed in accordance with the approved elevation. That concludes my presentation. I would be happy to answer any questions, and the project architect is also here to represent the applicant. Thank you.
I mean, I like the original design. It makes sense. Yeah.
100%, I agree with you completely. I think it looks very haphazard and after the fact. And yeah, for future use, it just doesn't make sense. It kind of just ruins the whole facade of that building. So I don't know if the architect wants to come up and speak. I don't have any other questions. Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Gabriel Lujan from GLA Design Group. I'm here to represent the owner. I did a little research also as to why the building changed from the original design. Let me give you a little bit of what happened. We took over the project. This was approved by another architect, a LA architect, but somehow he didn't know what he was doing, so they hired us to take over the project. As you know, we usually do 3D renderings. He did color elevations. And what happened is during the time that they changed architects, they changed contractors, the building kept getting broken into. They kept breaking the windows. The contractor that was there got tired of people breaking in and stealing the equipment, stealing whatever he left, it would be gone. So when my client took over from that contractor, he didn't realize that windows were closed off. And so when I told him, I said, hey, this doesn't look like what got approved. He says, you do not know how much money we've lost in break-ins, because as you know, the homeless were breaking in and just camping out. And then they were stealing whatever they could so they can get their drugs or whatever it is that they need to survive. So yes, it's beautiful with all those windows, but one of the biggest problems we were having is vandalism and break-ins. And as you know, being in the cannabis business, with the problems that we have with the odor control, we figured, okay, what can we do to mediate this so that one, we don't have that much glazing, and two, do not create any more problems, because if you know, the odor control problem is just to the right of this building, and those first buildings that were not mitigated to control their odor. If you pass by there, it's ugly after 5 o'clock when the wind starts blowing. So what we're coming in here and saying, hey, can we do something to, one, not have so many windows? I know it looks beautiful with all the windows, I agree. But what can we do to make it a safe building? This building is owned by my client, so it's not going to go back to a commercial building. As long as he can make a profit in cannabis, he's going to keep it as a cannabis use building. Two, we still have the art in public places, that was my original design. I'm the architect that came up with the arts in public places. And so we have that on the left-hand side. So we're just asking for some help. I mean, we don't want to fight this, because as it is, the moratorium is causing a lot of problems to a lot of my clients. But what can we do to mediate this, to make it pleasing? The other thing is, this project got approved like, I'd say 50% of the first projects without any screening. Unfortunately, the previous previous people that were here for planning did not see the screening problems that were going to come in. So we automatically said, hey, we're going to come in and we're going to screen them with a regular corrugated metal. So we're trying to comply. We're trying to make it a pleasing or a nice aesthetic building. But by the same token, we have problems. And one of them is vandalism, break-ins, and people just wanting to show that they can do whatever they want to whenever they want to. So I'm here to answer any questions, and hopefully we can get some help from you.
So is this more of a temporary problem because the building sits vacant and you have all these tools in there?
Well, because during the construction, the building was being worked inside and they kept getting break-ins. They kept getting break-ins.
So when everything's said and done, most of these cannabis places, they have security, pretty beefy security, correct?
Cameras, they
Yeah.
have cameras. They don't really have overnight security. They have cameras.
So if these windows are kind of useless, honestly, I think it looks really bad with all those windows removed. Is there a way to do some, put the windows, but maybe block them from the
Well,
interior?
the other thing
to
we can
make
do-
them faux windows?
Well, the other thing what we can do, which they already blocked from the interior. The other thing we can do is we can do long, narrow windows up above over the two canopies in the middle.
It's a cohesiveness to it.
Okay.
It's just, that middle area just doesn't blend at all with those.
It looks like the back of the building, not the front.
Not the front.
And did they break in the front windows or did they break in the back?
The back there has no windows. Like, they kept getting in through the front
Well,
in the
that was
middle of the
when
night.
that half mesh stuff was there, it was easier. Now that it's going to be clean, I can't imagine. If you got a window to the right and a window to the left, you're not going to go break.
No, it
into
wasn't
one of
mesh when that happened. That was open. So every morning when they come in, the glass was broken, and they broke in.
Yeah, I agree with my guy down here, is that the security would probably be the best way to go. You'd probably spend a ton less money on a roving security guy at night than you would on replacing the glass, but it almost looks like a prison from the front without any windows
Correct,
in it. Just
correct.
Really, you as an architect got to see that, right?
No, I see it. I see it.
It's just not, doesn't look good.
Yeah, no, I see it, and I agree with you. But like I said, then we had the security problems, and because it's not like we can do the metal roll-ups at night and roll it up and close it, because those are not approved by planning. So we just had so many problems with.
Can you put them on the inside?
Well, they're on the outside. Even if we put them on the
No,
inside.
the roll-ups, can you put the roll-ups on the inside, or can you do it exactly how it was approved and just block the interior of the windows? Because the windows are blacked out, I'm
Correct.
assuming, right?
Yeah, they're blacked out. No, well, they're already blacked out. They're already, except for one, which is the one where we have our dispensary office, that one's not blacked out. But all the others are already blacked out, except for the arts and public places also.
So if it's a matter of them breaking the windows, getting inside and stealing the stuff, can we put it back to what it was approved at and build a wall behind the windows, since the windows are blacked out?
That's going to be in place.
Cathedral Canyon.
Yes.
And right there on the corner.
It's
That
just
one
a
has
matter
the
now of-
walls with the artwork.
Yes. And it's just a matter of now, how many times do we replace the windows if they think they can break in through there?
Well, I mean, once you block it, they're going to break the windows and they're going to be like, oh.
Get a wall.
This is useless. So I feel like that problem will probably fix itself. I'm sure they'll get some security there, especially if they're cultivating cannabis on a large scale. I vote to deny this new change and go back to the original,
Okay.
100%.
Now,
There's
if
ways
you-
to mitigate this.
If you look at we go left to right, the second one, there's a hollow metal door instead of can we keep the hollow metal and just put the two in the middle? I'll point it out here. This was shown as, now it's hollow metal, so if we were to bring these two back in here and keep the hollow metal entrance, would you be willing to approve that?
It's all or nothing,
Okay.
to tell you the truth. It doesn't make sense to just pick and choose one or the other, because the
What-
whole thing is that it's cohesive the way it is. It matches the parapets, it matches everything. So if we take one out, it just looks like an oddball. It just throws
What's
off
the
whole
purpose
design.
of that door? They
The
use
hollow
it-
metal, they can't break in through. If we put Because that's an entrance also, so if we put a storefront glazing, they'll break the glazing and go right in, because that one's not blocked. That's an actual,
I just haven't heard of all this vandalism on Perez Road. It's just kind of new to me.
what was that again, sir?
I haven't heard of all this vandalism going on Perez Road.
Oh, on the cannabis areas, on the cannabis sites, yeah. I mean, I had one guy who chased a homeless during the middle of the night. They almost killed each other.
Yeah, I think that security, whether armed or not or something, would be your best bet.
Okay.
Because, I mean, if they're doing that, maybe they're going to tag the place, who knows? But I mean, that would solve I think would solve a lot of your problems and be a lot less expensive than replacing the windows and cleaning if there was ever any graffiti on there. So you just
No,
do it.
not graffiti, we're
No, but
talking
if there was,
break-ins.
you'd have a guard out there that would prevent all that stuff, I would hope.
No, I'm just talking break-ins but like I said, I mean, we're here we just want to get the project completed, and if we have to go back, then we'll take it back to what it was previously approved.
Yeah, I say it should be the windows and put a solid wall like the one on the corner.
Behind it, yeah.
Yeah, and that can be locked and they're not getting in.
Okay. Can the door be a hollow metal door? Well, no, they're still going to break in.
Where's the entrance, in the back or in the side?
There's an entrance in the back, yes, in the parking lot. And we have two more entrances here. And the way it was designed, all these had doors. So the question is, do we go to doors, or do we just go solid storefront doors where they're needed? That would be my next question. Can I go solid storefronts instead of doors? And then where I have the office and where I have the employee exit, those would be doors to be able to get in and out. Would it still keep the cohesiveness?
How many of these are doors?
Right now, the way it's shown, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All of them shows a door. And the way we're showing is we're showing the two to the right.
I don't think 6 doors is necessary.
Yeah, well, because it was
Does anybody?
designed as a place that could be 6 suites. Now it's used by one.
Well, I mean,
Tenant.
I feel like adding a door would be a lot easier than.
Yeah, later on,
Solid
if
wall.
we just remove a panel
Yeah.
and we put a door, if that
100%.
ever becomes,
So, yeah,
A suite.
I'm cool with no doors. That seems very repetitive. And,
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just the window.
I mean,
Just-
as long as it looks cohesive like this, it would look even more cohesive without the doors.
Without the doors, exactly.
So-
Yes. Okay, so we can go just glazing, and doors wherever we need them for a.
Is there any
for-
safety concerns with no door, without 6 doors? Yeah.
Yeah, which we do.
And I don't believe that the construction drawings show it as 6 doors. I think they just show the 2
two
doors on the
doors,
front. So 2
Yeah.
doors would be consistent with the construction plans.
I mean, unfortunately, I feel like the best way to do this is keep it as close as you can to the original approved plan.
Correct.
Build solid walls behind all these.
Well, I just don't
These
want to come
windows.
back and say, hey, that was supposed to be a door, we go back, we come back and say, well, can we remove the door? So I just want to point that out, because I know nobody has pointed it out, and I'm like, can I
No,
go regular storefront glazing, storefront,
We don't need the
storefront?
doors, and,
Yeah, just windows.
yeah, windows are good.
Okay.
And then build solid walls behind the windows.
Yeah, we have solid walls
Get some,
behind.
get some cameras up, get your boy out there, watch the place, and I'm sure when it opens up, there's gonna be employees there all the time,
Correct.
so.
It's been vacant for so long. I get why they would break into that one. I mean, what about the one just finished next door? Have you heard any issues there?
We don't
I
know.
think it's just because it's been abandoned.
Just do it the last second.
Okay,
Pop it in. I'm just kidding. It's not that easy, but you get what I'm saying.
okay. So as long as you're not expecting to see 7 doors, 8 doors, and
No.
No,
just-
7
just doors where
seems-
they need to be.
That seems weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine, we can do that.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I think the other thing was the
The
parapet,
canopy,
the canopy.
which somehow I do not know how that changed. I mean,
That doesn't
still-
seem like that much of a difficult change.
No, we just have to raise it back up. I don't know
Yeah.
who tore it down, I don't know what they did.
Someone didn't know how to read
But
the
they're
plans.
still keeping the artwork and that?
Yes, the arts and public places are staying there. And
Okay.
those are a pair of doors, and those are seamless glass, so that's all nice and beautiful.
Well, another option then is put artwork in one of those other two windows, then it doesn't look like you'd want to break in if you had something there. Just a balance, you know, another one, maybe center. Just- Since we're the creative city.
No, let's just keep it as close as possible to the approved, and we'll just remove the doors
Yeah.
where they're not required.
Okay.
I think I'm good, and there's no public comments. I don't have any
Okay.
more questions for you, do you?
No, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Close the public comments. Back to committee for discussion. We did that. No questions for staff. Do we have any member that'd like to make a motion?
So do we move just to your recommendations, right?
Yeah.
Is that what,
And then the doors aren't necessary. Do we need to add that, or is that? Okay.
okay.
You want to make the motion? Oh, we have it. All right.
I think we move this thing up.
Right. Did you vote on that?
Yeah, I can't get, I always had this.
Click Alt-Tab.
Oh, to go take it back to the screen.
Do what? Alt? Thank you.
Let the record show that a motion was made by Committee Member Kiefer, seconded by Committee Member Haas. Motion passes 3-0.
All right. Are there any future agenda items to discuss? No?
list and kind of plan ahead. The other thing is that there will be a meeting on July 2nd and on July 16th.
Okay. I'll be here. Do we have any comments from the staff? That was that.
So in addition to that, I
Yeah.
just want to build on Sandy's
Yeah.
comments. So since the last meeting, I've had conversations, communication with several members of the ARC, and I think there were some constructive comments made in those conversations. Among those was the future look-ahead agenda, trying to do more to help you predict and anticipate upcoming meetings. We understand the meeting schedule has been infrequent, and that has created a lack of predictability on when an ARC meeting will be convened. So we are going to use that look-ahead agenda to assist you in anticipating upcoming agenda items. There also was a request for some analysis on the ARC workload over the last few years, and we are working on that, and we will share that with the ARC. There are some interesting trends in there, and I would say that one that stands out, we've seen a substantial decline in CUPs over the last few years. I suspect that most of those are cannabis CUPs. There was a major influx of cannabis CUPs early on, and those have decreased over time. We still have seen a steady number of design reviews and other major applications, though. So right now in our queue, we do have a lot of applications. We are busy. There is a lot going on. We have an economic development dashboard on the city's website. If you haven't checked it out, I do encourage you to take a look at that. It does give a sense of the totality of what is in the entitlement process, together what is in the post-entitlement and construction process in the city. It gives you a sense of what happens to a project once it is considered by the ARC. So we will share much of that information as well. Also on an economic development front, we are working to share a little bit more information, and here soon we'll have an economic development quarterly newsletter that shares a lot of information on permits, inspections, evaluation, the overall sales tax revenue that the city's receiving. So trying to share more of those indicators on the health of our economy and development activity here in the city. So that's a publication that we're working on, and we'll be sure to share that with the ARC as well.
Perfect. I love it. Do we have any comments from the committee?
Any updates across the street? that you
It's
wanna share?
slow. I'm sorry. I wish I had a solid date to share with you. They are working on Palm Canyon now, and they will be working on
I
Palm
mean, they're
Canyon for a
moving.
while.
At least there's people there. If we can finish one thing in the Cove, I'll be really happy. Do you know, so I think she mentioned that they're having problems with SCE at the Grove Street Apartments.
Yes, there was a stop work order from SCE. It was related to clearance from overhead utilities. So they're working through that. They were authorized, they were allowed to continue work inside the apartments, but there was a hold put on the vertical construction.
Have they been working on it?
They have been working on it. I can't say where it's
Yeah.
at right now, but we did reach out to SCE. We did assist trying to clear some of those hurdles and get that through the SCE design process.
They do plan on finishing it, though? Okay, that's good. What about the other one, the Cathedral Canyon Apartments, or what are they called? The eightplex? Yeah,
I think that should be under construction. The new owner took it over.
yeah.
They
Yeah,
had some
started for a few
challenges
weeks
with
and then-
break-ins and
well.
vandalism, so there were some challenges with that one.
Where are all these vandals? I need to start roving the streets. And then Nirvana Estates, they're just grading right now?
They rough graded the site, and so they may have their precise grading plans in, but they are in contact with us. They want to do possibly some minor changes to the community building, but that's the status of that. They're working on their final map, so they do have CCNRs under review, so we're plan checking it.
Cool.
Yep.
That would be nice. Anything else?
No.
We got a Starbucks.
Soon.
That's very exciting. All right. I'm going to adjourn us. This meeting is now adjourned at, if I knew what time it was, it would be helpful. It's 5:06.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.